Well, hello, our fellow friends, our fellow neighbors, and our fellow shining stars. Our next trolley stop is here, and our next trolley stop is now. Welcome back to another all-new episode of the PR from the Heart Children's Book Spotlight Series. To be precise, we have reached episode number 153. That is the 153rd trolley stop here at the Children's Book Spotlight Series in PR from the Heart. My name is John Massalonis. I'm super excited to be spending more quality time with all of you, wherever you are, wherever you may be. We are still fully immersed in the summer reading season, and especially us right now as parents and caregivers and custodians of our little one, we're really doing our part to spend as much quality time with our little ones, whether it be going to the park, whether it be going to a baseball game, whether it be taking your little one out into nature, or most importantly, take the time to reconnect with reading. Now, let's be honest, over the course of these past several months and even several years, really, literacy levels across the country have gone down as the result of the pandemic. So one of the things, the main thing that we're going to be communicating here on this week's Trolley Stop on the Children's Book Spotlight Series is how to support the developmental growth of our little ones. It's important that we're not, that we're guiding them gently, but that we're not pushing and forcing things along in the process. And I'm really excited because very shortly the back to school season is going to be just around the corner. And little ones, when they're experiencing emotional growth and spiritual growth even as well too, sometimes they can be picked on as well too. So we're also going to be talking about bullying and what we can do to stop it as well too, and leave it to several brand new children's books and middle grade books as well too. Super excited when we can dive into the world of middle grade and chapter books as well too. Several brand new books are helping to lead the way, in addition to those who has actually written these books, one specific shining star just outside of Miami, Florida. We encourage all of you, our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars, to head on over to Amazon.com and to purchase your copies of the Bully Brigade series, in addition to the Tag Along Reader series. You can check out your copies of A Rat on the Mat and My Dad is Rat. We're also going to be talking about coloring. It's one of my favorite things to be able to do as well too. So this is going to be a full chalk edition of the Children's Book Spotlight Series this week. So many wonderful things to talk about. The trolley heads on over from San Diego all the way to just outside of Miami, Florida. One of the newest members of the PR from the Heart family, TT Floyd, is joining us. It's sunny out here. I hope it's sunny where you are. Thank you for spending some time with us after the 4th of July. How are things with you today?
I'm great, and you? How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I've been really excited about this trolley stop for a long period of time. If you're already feeling the excitement and the energy in the air, if you're saying, you know what, TT and John, I'm going to grab my coloring book and my colored pencils, my crayons. I'm going to, put on my thinking cap and really tune into how I can help my little one to be able to support their developmental growth even more. We encourage you, if you haven't had the opportunities to do so, to subscribe to PR from the Heart's official YouTube channel and to share this very special trolley stop that you are now enjoying. That is episode number 153 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series. I commend you for the work that you're doing, because through Overflow Press Media, your publishing company, you're really providing tangible resources of care for little ones, ranging from, just starting off all the way to who are becoming, more tweens, preteens. So you're really doing your part to help so many different children. So I want to, first of all, thank you for what it is that you're doing for children of all ages, including us big kids as well, too. Whenever we start a Children's Book Spotlight series, we always like to start with an origin story, because it always begins somewhere, so to speak. What inspired you? Could you share, for those of our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars who are learning about you and your work for the first time, what inspired you to step into the world of kid lit and to become a children's author?
Well, what inspired me was my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. McLean. She introduced me to literacy and to writing. She introduced me to poetry, which became my absolute favorite in the beginning. So we did a poetry unit in class. We learned about haikus and sonnets and other forms of poetry as well. And I just became so fascinated with it. And I remember going to her desk and I would say, "Is this okay? what do you think about this line? What do you think about this line of the poem? How is this? How does this sound? And she recognized my joy for it, and she began encouraging me even more. From that, she would enter me into essay contests. And I remember my very first essay contest was the Ralph Nader Hero Peace Hero contest.
Okay.
So I had to write an essay about him and peace. So that's what really motivated me. Her pouring into me um, and instilling into me literacy. I just want to do that. I want to pour back into children what she poured into me.
What did that mean to you? Because there's a lot of kids out there that feel unloved, not special, that no one cares about them. And all it takes, I feel, is just one bright light, one shining star, full pun intended, to help a little one remember that they have inherent worth and inherent value. What did that mean to you, knowing that you had that support system, that wonderful soul that you were just communicating about, that she was there for you and that she helped you to remember the gifts that you had inside you? What did that mean to you early on? And looking back, what does it mean to you now?
Well, she helped build my confidence through all of the different activities that we would do in class. And she was always so supportive. And what I really liked is that if you were like really good with math, she would have you go over the homework in class with the kids. So it was like you would be the teacher for the day. So she really worked to build my confidence, and it really helped me feel like I could do anything.
I love that. And I think that this is also, it's definitely providing some hope and some encouragement for parents, for grandparents, for educators that are watching this episode of the Children's Book Spotlight series, who either, are the parent of a little one, the grandparent of a grandchild, or the teacher of a student that might be struggling with some kind of self-worth and value. So important that our little ones know that they're trusted adults, fellow neighbors that care about them, that want the best for them, and help them to remember the gifts that lie within inside. I love the fact that you have spent so much time in the classroom being an educator, because that's really where it all begins. And I
Yes.
there's lots of people who want to write children's books, and they're all important, they're all essential, but I feel that if someone is an educator, they truly understand the emotional, the spiritual, the physical needs, and really how to nurture their mind and their heart. So how did your work in the classroom specifically help to fuel your mission and your purpose?
Well, when issues arise in the classroom, you get to see what goes on from a child's perspective, and you get to understand their motives, their feelings, or whatever it is that they did. In addition, another great advantage is that when you introduce them to literacy, you get to figure out like what words makes them giggle, makes them laugh, what makes them curious, and what makes them concerned. Those are the joys of being in the classroom, because I'm able to include those experiences inside of my books.
I think that there's, I still believe this, even though it kind of looks a little bit different now. A couple of years ago, I would say like there are some, like if there were like the top 5 professions or jobs to have, I always felt that like working at Toys R Us or working at Trader Joe's, it's like those are two of my, well, like Toys R Us, what I refer to Toys R Us as if it's still in the present tense, even though it's been closed for the past couple of weeks. But
Right.
there's no greater exchange, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a principal, whether you're a librarian, you really know that you're making a difference in the life of a little one. The Bully Brigade series, we're definitely going to be diving into that. This is something we had talked about in the PR from the Heart Green Room, the fact that I really don't know of, that I'm not consciously aware of, a series like yours that really, tackles bullying, provides some really key heartfelt messages, but has like such great, exciting stories in the process. So after committing to your next steps and beginning to write the Bully Brigade series, one of the things that we always like to communicate here in the Children's Book Spotlight series is when we're stepping into something new, we can experience challenges, difficulties, obstacles, problems, stressors, troubles, worries. I alphabetize them because like they all mean the same thing. And when there's always that some sort of block that we feel that we may have. So what were some of the challenges and difficulties that you experienced early on? And what were some of the things that helped you to get through to the other side where you are currently right now?
I'm an entertainer slash storyteller. That's my writing style. When it came to the Bully Brigade series, my main focus was not only to produce a message of value, but it was also to make sure that each character's voice is unique because they're a group of 6 best friends. So that's one of the things that I kind of struggled with in the beginning, was to make sure that each character didn't sound exactly the same, that they had their own unique voice. So one thing that I had to do, one idea, was for me to just step back and think about 6 of my closest friends and their unique qualities and how they empower me in different ways. So I use that as my fuel and motivation to create the characters and make sure they each had their own voice.
I love that, and I think that it's so important that when we do experience, especially even like doubt. How does the expression go? Like, doubt kills more dreams than anything. If you're experiencing doubt or fear, when you have that spark of creativity and you connect to that, I can just imagine how like everything flows, because like you have 4 great books, and there's sometimes people that can just struggle to write a sentence or a paragraph, right? So, the fact that, again, and that's not even including the tag along reader series, which we're going to be talking about as well too. Again, we hope that you are enjoying your time with us here in our neighborhood at PR from the Heart. You are tuned into episode number 153 of the PR from the Heart Children's Book Spotlight series. Joining us is children's author and the founder of Overflow Press Media, TT Floyd. We are almost ready to dive into the pages of the Bully Brigade series. We encourage you, if you are new to the Children's Book Spotlight series and or learning about TT's work for the first particular point in time, you can head on over to TT's official website, which we have included in the description below, Amazon.com as well, if that is your preferred online vehicle of choice. You can leave a 5-star review for all of the books in the Bully Brigade series. Of course, it all begins with the turnover. In addition, you can leave 5-star reviews for the tag along reader series as well. A Rat on the Mat and My Dad is Rad, one of my favorite Father's Day books, by the way, as well too. By pledging your support for TT and leaving a 5-star review, that's just one of the many ways that you can remind her that she is a bright light, that she's doing much needed work for children, parents, families, educators, and as we like to say here at the Children's Book Spotlight series, those who love great children's books. Between the characters, which we're going to be talking about as well momentarily too in the Bully Brigade series, whenever there is a concept for a series, there's always that, how did that come to fruition kind of thing. For some authors, it's through real life experience, whether it be through the lens of their little one, through the lens of themselves growing up. Maybe it's something that inspires them in terms of world events. So before we dive into the pages of the Bully Brigade series, could you share with our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course, our fellow shining stars, how the idea for the Bully Brigade series came to be?
I'm a little embarrassed to talk about it because originally the title of the series was Busta Brown and the Bubblegum Gang. It's real corny and cheesy. So
That's okay.
that's what I started with. But then there was an issue, I believe back in 2016 or 2017, there was an incident where a student by the name of Amy Joyner Francis, she was killed in the girls' bathroom at her school. There was a fight broke out, and Amy was known to her friends to be the type of person that stopped confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
She was known to be the type of person that would break up fights. So my thought process with the situation that happened was, who was there for Amy in her time of need during that fight? Who helped? Because that's something, technically we still don't know, but who helped or who could have helped? So that reshaped the Bully Brigade series for me. And from that, I wanted to have a team, a group of people supporting student in times like that, that will stand up and that will pretty much try to work hard to stop confrontation. So the Bully Brigade series, it also morphed into empathy. Empathy became one of the main themes. It was centered around empathy because empathy breeds heroism. So within the Bully Brigade series with the characters, you'll see that the characters are colorful, yet they are human. They are relatable. They are not perfect. So for example, you have Charlie. Charlie has a big mouth. And sometimes Charlie doesn't know when to use it as a gift. And sometimes she can't tell if, if it's gonna end up being a curse. Because a lot of times it works out in her favor. And then other times it's a flaw. But she's really empowered to speak up for victims of bullying. Anything that she sees going on that is not right, she wants to tackle the issue. She wants to talk about it. She wants to handle it right away. And then we have Ruthie, who's soft-spoken but strong. She handles issues with grace, and she's really in tune with how her friends are feeling, and as well as people who are affected by bullying. And then you have Busta, who he's headstrong, but he struggles with regulating his emotions, because that's a big part of empathy. You have to be able to regulate your emotions if you're going to help someone else. And then we have Petey and Pudge, who are nonchalant, a little laid back, but they're always up for, support and a good fight, if you will, in a good way. And then there's Diego, who is the life of the party. He loves to make everyone laugh. And, he has such a big heart. So that's the gang in a nutshell.
I love that. And I feel that that middle graders and really, like, this is one of the things that I really love about your books as well too, is that they're obviously meant for a targeted audience, but there's someone like me, I'm turning 41 in just a couple of weeks, and it's just like, I love the Bully Brigade series.
You're
right?
turning 41?
I'm turning 41. Yes, I can.
I'm turning 40 in a few days.
Well, I give credit to my high school Spanish teacher, Carolyn Leonard. Whenever I would hear that someone would celebrate their birthday, I would be the guy that would go "Feliz cumpleaños," which is happy birthday in Spanish. But adults as well too. If you are the parent of a tween, a preteen on your end of things, this is a series that you can definitely relate to, connect with, and even experience some sort of deep emotional transformation and healing in the process as well. It's one of the reasons why, children's books and middle grade books, they're also good for us big kids as well too. I must
say that this series is like, it means everything to me. I actually love creating the characters. And in book one, the gang tackles peer pressure. Book two, they tackle diversity, and pretty much being open to and understanding that everyone is different and embracing those differences. Book three, they tackle workplace bullying. Because sometimes I don't think kids know that adults get bullied too.
Mm-hmm.
Adults are also victims of bullying. So I wanted to show them that in the books as well. I wanted to display that. And then the last book is about cyberbullying. And all of the books have tips on bullying in the back.
I'm just so glad that you're covering the different aspects of bullying, because there was a point in time when we were growing up where it was just, there was like a central definition of what bullying looked like. We thought about, kids in grammar school, and that was about it. But obviously, as time has evolved, as you said, there's more workplace bullying since the advent of the internet in the 90s. There's been more cyberbullying as well too, and that has actually become, in many respects, even more detrimental to our little ones than, you know, the old school physical kind of bullying, if that makes sense. Why is it important for you? You obviously mentioned how the books mean a lot to you.
Mhm.
Why is it important for you to talk about this message of bullying, especially now with everything that little ones have gone through previously, everything that little ones went through with the pandemic, and now we're starting to come out of the pandemic? Why is this message so important for you to talk about and to share with all of us?
Well, in the age of social media, sometimes on the internet, you see brutal videos of children or adults being hurt. And people nowadays, they just want to film it and they become so desensitized. Instead of running to stop it, we just start filming instead of helping. So that was a big part of why I wanted to write the series, and also to just place more emphasis on character education for children and to hopefully just build them up and help them to make good decisions through my work.
I'm really glad that you're communicating this as well too, because I feel that when you're sharing the message of the Bully Brigade series, you're also helping little ones strengthen their vocabulary, strengthen their courage, their confidence, and also their reading as well too. So it's kind of like they're learning and they're integrating so many different things at the same particular point in time, which is not an easy task, but you are definitely pulling it off, needless to say. Now,
Thank
you're also helping, well, you're welcome. You're also helping to enrich the minds and the hearts of our young ones through the tag-along series. There is, of course, as I had mentioned, one of my personal favorites, My Dad is Rad, and there is a rat on the mat. Could you share with us a little bit about, because obviously, you know, when you're writing a book for a little one versus a preteen, tween, teen, it's you're speaking to, you know, you're speaking to a different child, literally and
Yes.
figuratively, so to speak. So could you share with us how the series came to be and what little ones will be able to enjoy when themselves, their mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, teacher, when they enjoy the Tag Along Reader series?
So the Tag Along Reader series was created to empower parents and to help them create a bond through literacy with their children. So the series is actually slated for 22 books. My Dad is Rad and A Rat on the Mat just happens to be the first 2 books. So the series starts off in the beginning, it starts off with sounds, and they get to practice the repetitive sight words that they'll see throughout the story. Then once they're done reading the actual story, it has word bingo and different puzzles in the back and a pop quiz, just to help reinforce the sight words that they learned and reinforce what they learned about the story. So for me, the Tag Along Reader series, that's my baby, that's my new baby, my other baby. But it's very important as parents that we inspect what we expect. A quote from a wise person. Because with the Tag Along series, as you're doing the activities, you're able to see where your child is. So my child might need help with sounds. Okay, my child needs help with sight words. You're able to know where they are so that way you can provide them with help. Because our ultimate goal is for our children to be literate and to love literacy. I mean, literacy is the foundation of everything. You can't have or do anything without it. It's very important.
That's very true. That's very true. And a few things with regards to the Tag Along Reader series, especially My Dad is Red. Growing up, pop quizzes sucked for me. Like whenever the teacher would say, I don't want to use the word suck in the children's book spotlight series episode, but it's like, okay, kids, time for pop quiz. Be like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't study, da 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 da. But it's like, this is like a fun and playful pop quiz.
Mhm.
So like, let's say if, you're a parent on your end of things and you have that vivid memory of having pop quizzes growing up, I'm sure this is going to be a very fun pop quiz. And just like, especially about, we just celebrated Father's Day, and I still feel, especially with Father's Day and Mother's Day, we take the 2 days a year to kind of just celebrate moms and dads. And I feel this is something that we need to do every day, and to
Yes.
kind of reinforce that. So it's important how we're reinforcing these messages to our kids. It's very easy for our little ones to see mom and dad as Wonder Woman or Superman. And like, we have emotions and feelings. We move through stuff. We move through challenges. And it's so important. Like, I can just imagine all the dads out there, right? For many dads that are tuning in, you're rad. And it's important that we're
Yes, you
reminding
are.
you of all of this in the process. Now, we're coming full circle to the heart of our conversation here today, and this week on the Children's Book Spotlight series. As you had alluded to briefly, you're a huge proponent of reading to our little ones and also inspiring them to enjoy coloring. That is one of the big things, and of course, you'll be able to see in the Tag Along Readers series. We're talking about supporting the developmental growth of our children, specifically with regards to reading and to coloring, especially coming out of the pandemic. How do these two key cogs help to support the developmental growth of our children, reading and coloring?
Well, the Tag Along Reader series is also a 3-in-1 coloring book, because it's a coloring book, it's a reading book, and it has activities. Coloring helps kids improve their fine motor skills, and it trains their brains to focus. It's actually very therapeutic. For some kids, it's the beginning of creativity that boosts their confidence. Kids feel empowered and accomplished when creating something and bringing it to life, especially through color.
That's true. And then also, cause this is kind of like the inner child in me speaking, but like when I have my Crayola color pencils and I see like 24 of them, it's like, you get to choose, like you can literally like, create your own. I mean, just because something needs to be sky blue, it doesn't need to be sky blue. It can be dark blue. It can be yellow. So this again allows kids to be able to connect with their creativity. And I also feel that it also, like, there's so many things that can take kids away from their joy and from their happiness and from just being a kid. And I think it's really important that we have these resources of care, like the Tag Along Reader series for our little ones. So it's a matter of, if they're having a bad day or they're really not living in the best living environment, they know that they have something they can go to that can keep them going and continue to build their momentum and their confidence to know that brighter days lie ahead. We're beginning to wind down our time here with our featured guest on episode number 153 of the Children's Book Spotlight series. Children's author, the creator of the Bully Brigade series, the Tag Along Readers series, and the founder of Overflow Press Media. TT Floyd is joining us here again as our featured guest. We encourage you, if you already have any of the opportunities to do so, to head on over to TT's official website, which is included in the description below. And also you can head on over to Amazon.com if that's your preferred online vehicle of your choosing. You can purchase your copies of the Bully Brigade series. The entire series is now available. You can check out The Turnover, along with There's Something About Cokie Michaels, Headmaster Bully, and Trolling Misfits. You can also, again, purchase your copies of the Tag Along Readers series, which of course include My Dad is Rad and A Rat on the Mat. Leave 5-star reviews, of course, if you feel guided to do so as well. That's one of the many ways that you can pledge your support. Technically, that's 6 ways that you can pledge your support for TT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To let her know that she's doing wonderful and much needed work for children, parents, families, educators, those who love great children's books, especially for all those dads out there. Let's re-echo those sentiments that dads are rad. Parents and educators, we're thankfully now on the other side of the pandemic for all intents and purposes. Burnout. There is just, I think I can just get this visual. I've seen it, of parents and educators just saying, this summer I don't want to do anything. I just want to just like lay out in the sun, swim, go to the beach. I need a recharge over these past 2+ years. What is your message? We always like to provide some form of whether it be encouragement, support, strategies, something that, that listeners and viewers of the Children's Book Spotlight series can implement, put into their lives nourish their minds, their hearts within the process. So what is your message of encouragement and support that you wish to pass along specifically to parents and to educators across the country and around the world who wish to continue to do their part to make the world a better place for our little ones each and every day, but who are experiencing burnout as the result of the past 2.5 years between, COVID and the pandemic?
Well, first and foremost, I just wanted to say to all of the teachers out there, I love you. I love what you do. Your job is not easy. Hats off to you. It takes a very special, dedicated individual to advocate and work with children on a daily basis, because teachers are we're not just teachers. Teachers are also counselors, they're nurses. There are so many things to children. And the pandemic was very difficult for everyone. But I will say, if you're too tired to walk this thing out, then crawl your way to victory. Because if we do nothing, we lose. But as long as we continue to at least crawl, there will always be progress. And if we give up on our kids, we give up on their future.
Those are words to definitely seep through and process through our systems. I think it might have been Dr. King, and I hope I'm not misquoting Dr. King, but if you can't run, walk, if you can't walk, crawl, or something along the lines. I'm almost positive Dr. King said that. And it's just a matter of doing what you know that you can do. For example, like there's many of us as adults that want to read these like 300-page books, right? Just, a couple pages a day. You don't have to read the full 300 pages in one day kind of thing. I'm super excited because we have 2 super fun ways that we always close out each children's book spotlight series. We like to give a little tip of the cap, of course, to one of our favorite neighbors, the late Mr. Rogers, of course, Fred Rogers, the host of a long-running children's television program, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that aired for many decades on PBS. Throughout different times in his life, whether it be in specific instances on the neighborhood TT, when he traveled all across the country and he spoke at and did different talks and commencement speeches at colleges across the country, most notably when he received his Lifetime Achievement Award at the Daytime Emmy shortly before he passed. He reminded all of us to remember those who helped love us into being. I always get chills talking about that because that was his way of saying to remember those people along the way who, if we were bullied, that helped to remember that, there's people out there that love you and care about you. There might be people that don't like you or may even want to hurt you in some way, but there are people that care about you. People, I always like to call them earth angels, people that are always there in times in our life when we need. Now, you obviously mentioned that wonderful source of inspiration, that teacher that you had growing up. Who would be some of the other people that you would like to publicly recognize here on episode number 153 of the Children's Book Spotlight series that helped love you, TT Floyd, into being?
Well, of course, my parents, my mother and my father, they were always hardworking, very supportive. They supported me, and no matter what it is that I wanted to do, whatever my aspirations were, they were just always very supportive and loving. So I would have to say my parents.
That's wonderful.
And, that's my rock. They're my rocks. They're always there for me. To this day, they're always there for me. So
I'm so glad that you have those sources of inspiration, because it's, as the expression goes, it takes a village, that we can't do what it is that we came here to do, especially if we have a big dreams, mission, purpose. It's so important. And I always do this regularly. I find I've been actually doing my part to kind of study a little bit more about gratitude and the importance of, a lot of times we can thank people that are in our lives now. I actually spend time thanking people that I don't even really communicate with, that were in my life 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And I'm so grateful for all those people that have helped to love me into being over the years as well. To encourage all of you, our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course, our fellow shining stars, to be able to just, take a couple of seconds, whether it be 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or a full 60 seconds. Mr. Rogers always keeps the time. right? To remember those who helped love you into being. And we also like to give a little tip of the cap. One of our, I feel that us as adults, we have the abilities to help to bring to form and shape our own dreams, desires, goals, ambitions, and really create the future that we want for ourselves. And we can do that we can help other people to do that. We can teach our kids to be able to do that. So we always go back to one of our favorite Disney animated classics, 1992. We remember the late Robin Williams. We remember the Genie of the Lamp. And this is where we officially have one of our favorite segments entitled Three Wishes. So if you're wondering, John, do you have a genie lamp in your office? The answer is yes, I do. This trusty genie lamp has a lot of mileage, needless to say. So this is the time for you to be able to receive. You have given for so many years to your family, to children, parents, families, educators, throughout the state of Florida, across the country, and around the world. So this is your time to be able to receive. Now, these are three wishes, so you can do with them as you. I think that the only two disqualifiers, I remember, the genie and Aladdin always talking about this, is one, you can't make someone fall in love with you, and two, you can't ask for more wishes. Those are the only automatic disqualifiers kind of things. So what would your three wishes be?
Number one would be for world peace. Number two would be just more goodness and prosperity in the world. And number three, my third wish would probably be just to be able to watch and see my children flourish and grow and to prosper in their own lives. And as I grow older, learn how to support them in their dreams.
Those are all beautiful wishes. And I always believe, TT, that when those wishes come from our heart and not come from our head, they got a greater chance of being able to come to fruition. I feel we all still need to, wish every day for world peace, because eventually it'd be great if we were all singing Kumbaya together and holding hands kind of thing. We still might be a little bit of a ways away from that,
yes.
But it's one of the things that we can just put out the intentions, the rocket launches of desire for each and every day. This has been a fun and magical trolley step. Raise your hand if you have had fun on episode number 153 of the PR from the Heart Children's Book Spotlight Series. We have many hands from myself and TT, 4 hands. We've got hands from the little ones up on screen. That means mission accomplished and job well done. Again, if you haven't had the opportunities to do so, we encourage you to stay connected with TT on social media. We have included her social media platforms in the description below, along with her official website as well. You can subscribe to the official Overflow Press media newsletter. You can head on over to Amazon.com if that's your preferred online vehicle of your choosing. Once again, you can order your copies, read them, enjoy them, of the Bully Brigade series. Again, it all starts with the turnover. It heads over to There's Something About Koki Michaels, Headmaster Bully, and Trolling Misfits. While on Amazon.com, you can also enjoy the Tag-Along Reader series. Again, A Rat on the Mat and My Dad is Rat. If you love coloring, if you love activity books, and yes, even if you love pop quizzes, there is something in the Tag-Along Reader series for you. And you can leave 5-star reviews for the Bully Brigade series and for the Tag-Along Reader series. Those are 6 wonderful ways that you can pledge your support for TT to let her know that she is doing wonderful and much needed work for children, parents, families, educators, those who love great children's books. And especially these are must reads for the summer of 2022 and beyond, because again, sooner than we realize that the back to school season is just around the corner. So we want to put these resources of care out for our little ones for the summer, for the back to school season, and beyond that as well too. Now, there are going to be many more magical trolley stops to come. So if you are a children's author and you would like to share your inspiring story, the release of your brand new children's book, just like TT did here this week on the program, and you would like to become a featured guest on the Children's Book Spotlight Series, you can head on over to our official website, prfromtheheart.com, or connect with us via any of our social media platforms that you now see on screen. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at PR from the Heart. We also want to be able to give 3 tips of the cap in the process. One to one of our favorite neighbors, David Newell. You remember him and you love him as the beloved Mr. McFeely, who played, of course, the mailman Speedy Delivery on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. For nearly 18 months, David has joined us each and every month on the PR from the Heart Neighborly Reviews bookcast, as we deliver heartfelt reviews from the newest children's books from the shining stars right here in the PR from the Heart family. So if you're a children's author and would love for David and I to review your brand new children's book on a forthcoming edition of the Neighborly Reviews bookcast, you know where to connect with us at prfromtheheart.com or any of our social media platforms on screen. We're super excited as well, too, because literally in just about 2 months, the trolley heads back all the way from San Diego over to Pittsburgh, and we will be recording 2 special in-studio episodes of the Neighborly Reviews bookcast with our friends at the Center for Media Innovation in downtown Pittsburgh. So stay tuned for that as well. One tip of the cap to one of our favorite neighbors here in San Diego, Laura Kavanaugh, the host and executive producer of San Diego Living, the official home of Empowering Reads for Kids, which is the official television book review segment of PR from the Heart on CBS 8, the CW San Diego. If you would love for Laura and I to be able to dive into the pages of your newest heartfelt children's book and review it and share it with children, parents, families, educators, and those who love great children's books here in America's finest city, here in San Diego, California, you know where to connect with us at prfromtheheart.com or any of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, one tip of the cap to some of our favorite neighbors here in San Diego as well. It is such a joy to be able to give back to Unity Church of El Cajon as we put together each and every month special editions of the Unity of El Cajon story time with Mr. John. So if you would like for myself as Mr. John to be able to share your brand new children's book and to be able to help connect further with the children here in San Diego, California, you would like to have your new book shared on a forthcoming episode of the Unity of El Cajon Storytime with Mr. John, presented by PR from the Heart. You know where to connect with us. And of course, for all the people who continue to support the Storytime with Mr. John series out here in San Diego, you can bring your little ones to Glen Park and Cardiff by the Sea the second Saturday of every month as we share some beautiful new children's books, have special interactive activities in the process, and our personal favorite, universal messages from the heart, is a little tip of the cap to Mr. Rogers. We always love to be able to communicate with the kids on such subjects as love and compassion, understanding, empathy, kindness, forgiveness. So we're looking forward to forthcoming editions of the Storytime with Mr. John series. You can, of course, register already, pre-register for our August event by heading on over to prfromtheheart.com and our official homepage. One more time, if you haven't had the chance to do so, you still have time to head on over to amazon.com to purchase your copies of the Bully Brigade series and the Tag-Along Reader series. Once again, the turnover, There's Something About Cokie Michaels, Headmaster Bully, and Trolling Misfits, along with, of course, A Rat on the Mat and My Dad is Rad. Those are 6 wonderful ways that you can pledge your support for TT to let her know that she is doing wonderful work for children, not only our youth, but also preteens and tweens and teens and us as big kids as well. And of course, that she is sharing this with parents and educators and those who love great children's books as well in the process. As we hear the trolley, we know that it is time to go. If all of these messages that we have been sharing this week on the Children's Book Spotlight series about supporting the developmental growth of our little ones, about bullying and the different forms of bullying and what we can do to be able to help our little ones in the process. If you're saying, TT and John, I've got my colored pencils, my markers, my crayons, and I'm ready to go to work. And yes, I'm even ready for that pop quiz. If you have enjoyed episode number 153 of the Children's Book Spotlight series, if you haven't had the opportunities to do so, to subscribe to PR from the Heart's official YouTube channel and to share this very special trolley stop that has been episode number 153 of the Children's Book Spotlight series. One last tip of the cap to one of our favorite neighbors, of course, Mr. Rogers. He reminded us each and every day in his own way, and of course, with his own private numerology, he always liked to share the numbers 143. That was his way of saying, I love you. There's 1 letter in I, 4 letters in love, and 3 letters in you. He always did our part to help us, and still does from above. He reminds us of our inherent worth and value each and every day. So a little tip of the cap to Mr. Rogers, since TT was very kind enough to join us this week and give us some of her free time. We like to share our favorite numbers of 243, as there's 2 letters in we, 4 letters in love, 3 letters in you. That is our reminder that we love you, that you are loved, you are whole, you are healthy, you are complete, that you are special, that we see you, we acknowledge you, we value, that we like you just the way that you are. There's no one else like you in the world. You're a pretty cool person. So yes, dads, you're rad, and everyone else, all of you who are tuning in, you are rad as well too. We want to thank you for your continued support of PR from the Heart, for your support of the Children's Book Spotlight series, for your support of children's authors and illustrators such as Titi, who are doing, again, wonderful and much needed work for children, parents, families, and educators, and those who love great children's books, for your support of children's bookstores, independent bookstores, and local libraries, truly the pillars of our community. But above all else, we want to thank you for helping us to walk home the children of the world, our fellow friends, our fellow neighbors, and our fellow shining stars. We will see all of you once again for another magical trolley stop. That is episode number 154 very soon. So for TT Floyd, for myself, John Massalonis, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Children's Book Spotlight series and spending some time with us here in our neighborhood at PR from the Heart. Again, thank you for helping us to walk home the children of the world, our fellow friends, our fellow neighbors, and our fellow shining stars. Goodbye for now.